Hello everyone, it's Harmony, and welcome to the visual raid guide for the Ascension Arcadia Championship Heavyweight M1. This is the first boss of the new 8-player raid introduced in patch 7.4, and is unlocked by completing the optional level 100 quest called the Breathtaker. Just as a quick warning, you can fall off this arena's platform, and doing so will result in instant death, so be careful not to get too close to the outer edges of the battlefield. With that said, let's jump into the guide. The boss will begin with Killer Voice, a group-wide attack that deals unavoidable damage to all party members. The boss will now begin using Half Moon, kicking their ether orb to perform a half-room cleave in the direction of the kick. You can easily avoid this by quickly moving behind the boss. This mechanic is also always immediately followed up with a second Half Moon in the opposite direction. The boss will now conjure several spectral bats around the battlefield while casting Vamp Stomp. This is a circular area of effect centered on the boss. To avoid it, simply step out of the marked telegraphed area. This stomp will also create an expanding aftershock ring. While the ring itself is harmless to players, when it comes into contact with a bat, that bat will explode as a circular area of effect. You'll need to carefully maneuver between these bats as they detonate to avoid taking damage. Hardcore is a tank buster that damages both tanks, as well as any players standing nearby the initial targets. Each tank should keep their distance from the group and each other, while also using defensive cooldowns and shields to mitigate the incoming damage. The boss should now use Sadistic Screech, a group-wide attack that deals unavoidable damage to all party members, while also reducing the size of the battlefield. The boss will then summon a whirling machine of blades on the north side of the battlefield called Coffin Maker. This death machine will slowly move forward the longer it remains active, and must be destroyed. Coffin Maker will also periodically throw out frontal linear area of effects, so be sure to stay out of the marked telegraphed areas. While Coffin Maker is active, the boss will also be untargetable. Flaying Fry will target all players with a circular area of effect for unavoidable damage, spread out to prevent overlapping damage from one another. Penetrating Pitch will target 2 random players with stack markers. The party will need to split into 2 groups to share the incoming damage from both attacks. You cannot stack together as a single group, as doing so will result in instant death. By this point, the boss will have moved to the south side of the battlefield and will begin using the half-moon cleave attack we covered earlier. You'll need to avoid these half-room cleaves while also dodging Coffin Maker's area of effect attacks. If Coffin Maker is not destroyed before the boss uses half-moon for the 4th time, it will move forward one final time and instantly kill the entire party. If you do survive, the boss will eventually cast Sadistic Screech again, dealing damage to all party members and restoring the battlefield to its original size. Crowd Kill is a group-wide attack that deals unavoidable damage to all party members, while also draining the crowd of its ether. This empowers the boss, increasing the amount of damage it deals to players. Finale Fatale is yet another group-wide attack that deals unavoidable damage to all party members. This will also periodically cause several circular ground-targeted area of effects to appear randomly around the battlefield, which won't stop until the boss uses an attack called Insatiable Thirst. To avoid these, simply step out of the marked telegraphed areas. Finale Fatale will also temporarily flood the outer edges of the battlefield with corrupted ether. If you make contact with this ether, it will result in instant death. Ether-letting targets 4 random players with circular area of effects for unavoidable damage, spread out to prevent overlapping damage from one another. Ether-letting will also leave behind glowing cracks in a cross formation at the targeted players' locations, which will eventually explode in the same cross-shape pattern for the full length of the battlefield. To avoid taking damage, you must quickly find the safe areas between these explosions and stand there until they detonate. You must also take care while spreading out during this mechanic, as you will still need to deal with the lingering effects of Finale Fatale's area of effects. Brutal Rain will target 1 random player with a multi-strike stack marker. The party must group up and stand together to share the incoming damage and remain grouped together until the attack animation finishes. The boss will eventually use Insatiable Thirst, dealing unavoidable damage to all party members and bringing an end to the lingering area of effects and corrupted ether ring created by Vamp Fatale. The boss will eventually cast Sadistic Screech again, a group-wide attack that deals unavoidable damage to all party members, while also reducing the size of the battlefield. The boss will then summon whirling Sawblades that move across the battlefield in a fixed pattern. These blades deal heavy damage and apply a powerful damage over time debuff to anyone they touch, so you must keep moving to avoid these weapons of torture. While dodging the moving blades, 2 tower markers will periodically appear. At least one player must stand in each tower to absorb the initial impact and prevent them from exploding and dealing heavy group-wide damage. Each tower will also leave behind a fatal flail. All players must destroy these flails as quickly as possible before shifting their focus back to the boss. If the fatal flails are not destroyed in time, they will explode, dealing massive damage to the entire group. To make this phase even more demanding, the boss will also periodically use Killer Voice, so healers should be prepared for significant group-wide damage throughout this phase. The boss will eventually cast Sadistic Screech again, dealing damage to all party members and restoring the battlefield to its original size. The boss will now use Crowd Kill again, dealing more unavoidable damage to all party members and draining the crowd of its ether once more. This further empowers the boss, greatly increasing the telegraphed size of its Half Moon and hardcore attacks. Here you can see the new telegraphed size for Half Moon, and now the updated telegraphed size for hardcore. These mechanics will now repeat and with increased overlap until the boss has been defeated. Thank you for watching. If you found this guide helpful, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and, most importantly, take care of yourself and each other.